Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Audi SQ7. Huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This SQ7 is finished off in Mythos Black Metallic. MSRP is just shy of $100,000. Now this is powered by the 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 500 horsepower, 568 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the Quattro all-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,300-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 22.5 gallons. You'll expect to see 15 miles per gallon in the city, 21 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 117.9 inches. Its overall length is 199.6. It has a width of 77.6 and a height of 68.5 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling for this SQ7, you'll notice that the surround for the hexagonal grille is finished off in gloss black. There's the new Audi badge along with the forward-facing camera. There's a sensor on both sides of that within the grille for the distance pacing, along with parking sensors. And then this is also equipped with LEDs for all of the lighting up front. And then there's some more inlets on both sides and in that lower section of the bumper there to provide a lot of cooling. And then 2 distinctive lines that meet the top of that grille very nicely. Now this model also has a really nice set of gloss black wheels with that multi-spoke design. There's also the S-line brake calipers, which are finished off in black, and some nice lines that run down the side. Now this has body colored side mirrors with the camera and the turn signal. There's a full moonroof up top along with the roof racks there. All of the window trim is blacked out, and in that lower trim accent, Quattro is also stamped on the back section of the door there. And then there's a crisp point that runs right through just above the height of those door handles, leading all the way to the back, where this has the body colored spoiler with the third brake light and the wiper blade. There's LEDs with that sequential design for the turn signal. There's the backup camera, all the parking sensors, the quad tip dual exhaust, and this can even tow right around 7,700 pounds. So you have a very capable 3-row SUV that you can use for towing too. Now you can also use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to open up the power liftgate. Now I have the 3rd row currently folded down, where you can see there's a good amount of space. It is a little bit longer with the 3rd row, so you have a lot of cargo space. Now on this left side, there's a storage net, and there's also this control right here for the adaptive suspension. So you can actually raise and lower the rear end of this vehicle. If you need a lower load height, you have the options to do that. Now in front of that, we have the controls for the 3rd row here. So if I push on this control, and the opposite one, you can actually bring both of these up. And with the 3rd row all the way up, as you can tell, there's still plenty of space behind the 3rd row. You do have a little bit of storage underneath, but mainly some components that you can gain access to. But still, a lot of space even with the 3rd row up. And you have the adjustments, of course, to fold both of them down as well. And then up top, there's the controls to close that liftgate or lock the vehicle too. Now, as we work our way to the interior, there's the proximity door handles, so you can use this to lock and unlock it. And then this model has the sunshades. There's also carbon fiber accents, brushed aluminum, all the leather, Bang & Olufsen for the audio, and a little bit of storage down below. And then as you can see, there's the black leather seats. Now these seats also move forwards and backwards. So there is a bar underneath where you can adjust that if you need more legroom up front or in the rear. And then to gain access to the 3rd row, you can pull on that lever, which is going to fold the seat flat, and then pull on this lever here on the back of the seat, and you can actually fold that all the way up. So it's a very easy process for these seats. And you also have these controls here that you can use in order to fold down and back up that 3rd row. Now at 5'10", this isn't really where I want to be. As you can tell, with these seats all the way back, I have limited leg space. And as far as headroom goes, even with a hat on, I'm pretty much touching the headliner here. So if I really needed to, I could ride around in the back. We have the armrest, cup holders. It's mainly for smaller kids if and when you need to use them. Plenty of lighting though. You have large windows on both sides there. So it is doable when you need to use them. So it's kind of just there if and when you have extra people. And then it's very easy to put these seats in the upright position where they do recline too. Now at 5'10", I have plenty of room for my feet. There's also storage pockets, vents in the middle, along with all the climate adjustments, heated seats. There's a few auxiliaries down below. And then I have a little bit more space, as you can tell. So I have this seat reclined, this one's all the way up. So just to show you, you can have a little bit more comfort with these seats reclined. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest along with the cup holders. You can also just fold this seat down by itself if you want this down and out of the way. And then here's a look at visibility. Pretty easy to see, even with that sunshade up there. And you have the full moon roof too. And then let's take a look at the window sticker real quick to show we have the executive package, which provides you with some options: the sport exhaust, the larger wheels, trailer hitch, and a few other minor options there to make this well equipped. Now up front, there's the memory seating adjustments, more of the alcantara and carbon fiber, power folding side mirrors, which are heated, all the window controls, liftgate, and some more storage. And then the automatic front seats have a really nice design to them with the inserts and the bolstering support that they have to offer. Now up front, we have the solid and perforated steering wheel. There's also paddle shifters on both sides. You have volume and tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, along with a favorites button, and then controls for the virtual cockpit. But let's start this up and take a listen to how this sounds. And coming back to the virtual cockpit, you'll notice on the far left, there's engine temperature. Far right, there's miles per hour. And then I can use the arrows to go through this information within the TAC in miles per hour. I can even scroll down and go through all of these vitals, just depending on what you'd like to see. And then when I push on view, let's go into navigation, push on view, you can bring that up in full screen. It will minimize the TAC in miles per hour. So just depending on how you would like to see that information. There's also cruise control and distance pacing on that lower left. And then you have that favorites button, which is currently set up for the map color for day or night, but you can configure that just depending on what you use. Now there's storage in the lower section, more carbon fiber, headlight adjustments. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, you have a lot of icons to scroll through, just depending on what you need to see. If we go into vehicle though, this is how you can get into your drive select, where you can raise and lower the vehicle and get through these different driving modes depending on the driving that you are doing. And then there's also the split screen going back to home, where you can view all of this information. There's also shortcuts on the left side to get into your navigation, phone, and music. Now in between the screens, there's the engine start stop, downhill assist. There's also some shortcuts where you can place for the navigation. You can get into the garage door buttons and then shut that upper screen off as needed. And the lower section is for all the climate controls. So there's your fan speed, temperature, where you'd like the air to go. You can also get into the rear adjustments along with the heated steering wheel. And then there's the heated and ventilated seat controls, a few other AC adjustments. There's also a shortcut to the drive select, so you can pull that up. There's traction control, hazards, some defrosters, and there's even a shortcut to the camera system. So you can pull this up where you have the 360 view and you have all these additional shortcuts to pull up just depending on the view that you need to see. There's also another shortcut to the drive assistance, so you can pull that up and monitor that and control it as needed. There's power and volume and tuning. You have cup holders with a small space. You can place the key fob. There's a 12 volt. If I put this into reverse, you have that backup camera and top-down view. You can also use the shifter to shift through the gears, or you can use the paddle shifters. Behind that, there's the e-brake. There's also the adjustments for the armrest, along with wireless charging, a few auxiliaries, and a little bit of space. You get more carbon fiber on the passenger side with the glove box there, rear view mirror, and then you have dome lights up top, along with the adjustments for that sunshade and sunroof. And here's a look at visibility. Pretty easy to see for the length of this vehicle. Even over that left side, you have a lot of visibility overall. As we set off now behind the wheel for this SQ7, I've been able to drive quite a lot of the Audi SUVs so far. First time in the SQ7 in quite some time. But what I like about the Audi models is that they're all going to have a very similar feel. So this feels exactly like the FOURR SQ8 that I was in last week. We just have a little bit of different features and technology. Some options are also going to vary too. But it's a really nice place to be. And I currently have it in dynamic mode. We can use these paddle shifters here, where with the SQ7, you get a little bit of performance. And you get a pretty good handling SUV that is also a 3-row vehicle. So if you're looking for that added space, you can still get a practical vehicle and you can still get a little bit of that sporty feel if you are looking for that next step. So if you want it over just a regular Q7, it will give you some of those nice features. The adaptive suspension is also a really nice feature to have because it's going to allow this vehicle to have a few different modes depending on the drive select that you put it into. So it will get a little bit more comfortable in comfort mode, of course, and then a little bit stiffer in the dynamic setting. It's also going to change the height of the vehicle too. So in dynamic mode, it's going to lower slightly just to give you a little bit more of those handling characteristics. And the suspension is also going to lower out on the highway to give you better aerodynamics. So it's a really neat system to have for this model. And it's also something that's very quiet too. So not only do you get a luxury ride with the suspension, you get a luxury vibe and ride overall with this Audi. So it's very quiet and comfortable. You're not going to hear much road noise or wind noise. It is going to be a solid and refined feeling vehicle. You can't even hear those cars passing. So if you are looking for that luxury ride, but you also want a 3-row vehicle, this is a great option to go with. Seats are also very comfortable too. Even in the second row, a little bit in the third row too, you have the bolstering support just to give you, it kind of gives you more of that sporty vibe, just having a seat that's a little bit tight on you, but it's very comfortable at the same time too. So we have a lot of adjustments with these seats. And let's downshift again. You can hear a little bit of that exhaust. Definitely sounds pretty good for a luxury 3-row SUV. And we're still in dynamic mode, second gear. Here we go. Paddles are also very responsive too. So again, for a 3-row SUV, the performance aspects that you get with the S-Line definitely makes it fun to drive. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the SQ7. We'll put it back into comfort mode, where you'll notice that will change on the gauge cluster too. It doesn't change any of the appearance for it, but we do have a little bit difference in the throttle along with the suspension, and just to give you a comfortable ride. You have a good bit of options for this model too. You can spec it to be more expensive. You can also go less expensive too. You can go with the Q7 as well. If you're not looking for some of that extra performance, you get a smaller engine too. And so you have a lot of options with this SUV. And with it in comfort mode, we can give it another slight acceleration. It doesn't seem to change the exhaust, since we have that sport exhaust, but under a mild acceleration, even that sounds good. It's got a nice throaty note to it without being overly loud. And just when you're cruising, you really can't even hear that it's there. So it's a really good combo between that sport and that luxury vibe without being too loud. But this is a great SUV. This would be something that you can daily drive. You can put in people. A little bit on the small side for that third row, but if you're looking to maybe occasionally use them, they're probably going to be down most of the time, but when you need them, they're going to be there and functional. I could stuff myself back there if I needed to be that extra person. So they are usable and functional if and when you need them. And it doesn't provide you with a large 3-row SUV either. So if you're not looking for like a Cadillac Escalade, something like that, a Tahoe, a larger vehicle, you can still get a 3-row and more of a smaller vehicle. So you can still drive this in the city. It's going to be easier to park and still gives you that added space in the back. So it's a really nice blend if you are looking for a vehicle like that. And as far as the turning radius goes, we can easily make this turn here. And then as we get back up to speed, it definitely has a tight turning radius. So again, very maneuverable for what you are getting. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Audi SQ7. Once again, huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.